Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Peter Abraham. I am a second career registered nurse with various nursing experience, but extensively in hospice and palliative care. And I have been providing remote end-of-life doula services over the past year and a half approximately. And I'm currently on my way to become certified through the International Doula Life Movement, also referred to as IDLM. If you're new to this channel, welcome. Thank you so much for taking the time to visit. In this channel, we talk about death and dying, anticipatory grief, which is what we can feel before somebody is lost from us, or changes that just don't happen. It doesn't have to be a person. Grief. I'll do videos for my fellow hospice nurses. I'll do videos for discussions for my fellow end-of-life doulas, and sometimes for caregivers. If these are things that you're interested in, please subscribe. Feel free to hit the notification bell. And if you like what you're seeing, please like it, as that does help the YouTube algorithm. I like to start off with every video as to what are you grateful for. And the reason for this is I believe that gratitude tied to a heart of forgiveness, tied to faith for those who are faith, but even if you just have gratitude, the more of these layers you have, the more resilient of a person you can be, so that when life smacks you down, you're able to get back up. Not saying not bruised, not broken, but you're able to get back up, dust yourself off, and say, not today, I'm moving forward. So for gratitude, for me, in terms of our last discussion, which was Wednesday, which I waited until we got the business cards in. I was really so happy with the quality of the business cards. These are from Canva, and I really appreciated that. But I had the opportunity to use them for the first time today, both with an electrician that was doing work at our house, as well as I went to a small business development grant writing class. Part of the vision statement for Compassion Crossing is the eventual formation of a 501c3 nonprofit that would be over Compassion Crossing, so two organizations, but that umbrella nonprofit would be able to ensure the dream that I have, that no one should ever die alone or without adequate support because they cannot afford to pay. So that grant writing class, it was a 2-hour class, was very productive. Now, I did get permission and did film all 2 hours. I think I lost maybe 90 seconds, maybe 2 minutes max. Ran out of battery power about an hour and 45 minutes in. I did have a spare battery, and thankfully it ran out at a time that things were like quiet. So not much was lost, but I'm hoping to work through the editing of that video, mainly because the Panasonic Lumix G97 put it in 5 GB chunks. So there's several videos I have to go through and like, how do I piece this together? But I'm grateful for the Berea Chamber of Commerce who did this for free, whether you're a member of the chamber or not. That's a tremendous benefit. So Donna, if you're watching this, thank you. They put out a free workshop that I attended, and this is another free event. And from my understanding, well, we don't know when, there's going to be a small business, tongue-tied, a grant writing class number 2 that's going to go over an actual grant example that we can really dig our teeth into. So I'm really excited about that. And then the other thing, and this is huge, I'm a little bit on the tired side, so if I don't sound as excited as I am inside, it's because it's been a long day. But today I had a chance to teach a beautiful, wonderful group of individuals of the International Doula Life Movement for the continuing education class, dealing with hospice care eligibility to try to gain understanding for end-of-life doulas. Now, just to be extremely and abundantly clear, tonight's message is not to do this presentation all over again. This was for IDLM students. I have one slide up just to pique your interest, because if you're an IDLM member, stuff like this is free. Stuff like this is free. If you already you buy one course, free CEs. But I had a chance to teach this to my fellow end-of-life doulas, and Michelle was a fellow nurse. And thank you, Michelle, and thank you, Aspen, thank you, Susan, thank you all the people who, a number of people, thank you, James. I'll lose track of the names who are putting into chat and commenting on the end. It was such a blessing for me to have this opportunity. You blessed, each and every one of you blessed me with this opportunity. And I learned too, because Michelle, in the most compassionate and empathetic way, pointed out something without even telling me I did something wrong. Pointed out I needed to rethink a way that I did things, because there was a case where I was sharing about a cancer patient that I was saying I was going to stick to the end, which was my plan, until the daughter, who did not like that I was advocating that he no longer live at home or have 24/7 support, because you don't want cancer patients needing more and more medications living by themselves. She ended up firing me as a nurse. I didn't lose my job over this, but another nurse took over. But then I couldn't keep my promise, and Michelle said, we have to be very careful to never say always, be very careful of always and never. So that was on me. And then for Aspen, thank you, Aspen, such a beautiful heart, where she shared that if you ever have situations, and by the way, this is a tidbit I learned, I want to share on what Aspen shared, that if you have somebody that you made a promise to, or in this, there's other applications, I'm talking about a promise, and you couldn't keep it through especially through no fault of your own, make something or do a ritual that reminds you, whether it's a picture, a stone, a plant. Make a ritual where you could pray and talk to that person as if they were there, and like, I'm sorry, and hold them up in prayer or thought or deed. And such a wonderful, wonderful blessing. And Aspen, I don't always get to read every article that you post in the IDLM free share area of the movement, which is like a Facebook group, but only for those who are participating, so to speak, in the doula movement. You don't have to be a doula to be a member. It is pay if you're not a doula. And if you are a doula, you have to be IDLM. I don't handle certain aspects of the IDLM management to know when stuff kicks in for certain components. But it's a way to have privacy, so we could discuss things in a more open and encouraging, non-judgmental manner. And so I don't always get to read. Aspen posts a lot of valuable information that one day I may get to read all of them. But wow, that's where, like, if for any of you watching this, this is part of why I endorse IDLM, because the value is through the roof. It's just tremendous. So what I wanted to do this evening after going out, that's what I'm grateful for. And as well as those people buying my books, because um, just between you and me, and my Laura, my wife, knows this too. I struggle a lot with insecurity. I'm trying to be transparent as I'm communicating with you. If you watch my earlier videos where can someone like me be saved? I share that I grew up in an unbelievably traumatic, abusive environment. And so it is extremely hard for me to accept compliments. It's hard for me to accept praise. Part of me, because there was a lot of manipulation growing up, and so it's hard for me to like trust it. I don't want to go too much down the rabbit trail, so to speak, but I one of the areas I've been struggling with is trusting God that the book sales will be a certain volume per month, that my wife and I, don't have to dig into our savings. Uh, she is getting her Social Security. She started for just slightly, I think it was slightly before, well, it is Yeah, she's not 60. I'm tired. She'll be 65 later on this year, but she started collecting 64 in several months. So it's I won't complain about any money, but it's on the lower end. It's not the averages that people talk about if you watch retirement channels. And she does work 3 to 4 days a week at a local wellness grocery store, and I'm so grateful for that. But it's those two plus the book sales that help us pay all of our bills at present until Compassion Crossing LLC kicks off. So I've been really praying and struggling, having trust in God that it's going to be this much per month in book royalties, because I can't make more sales. I could promote, but I can't make people buy. And I shared an episode or two, maybe three ago, where I believe a competitor spiked two books for reviews. Uh, they didn't give any reason as to why a one-star review, and thank God for the one book. Somebody came in and gave a 5, which kind of balanced things out, took it down to the middle. But I get scared, I get insecure, and here, wow, 30 books sold today so far. So this month is already, I wasn't sure if it would be enough, so to speak, and we passed that mark today because there was a slowdown. And so I struggle with that. But I'm thankful. And by the way, on the thank part, I may have mentioned this Wednesday, so I'm sorry if I repeat. Actually, maybe I didn't, or maybe I did. Sorry. Um, I ended up getting hired to proofread and format a book, take it to publication, and I quoted the person. I went really low, and he was so happy. He paid 3 times the amount, which was actually it would have been $50 higher than if I would have went the middle of the road amount. So I was beyond happy with that amount. And then on Monday, I have a phone call, or a Zoom meeting to be more specific, with a palliative care, hospice and palliative care nurse out of North Carolina who wants to look at an education initiative. So I don't know what that's going to turn into. It's a free consultation, so I don't want to make mountains out of a molehill. It's free. And on July 2nd, and I can now name the agency because they actually introduced me early on Facebook, and I'm humbled by how they told the public in the Madison County and their staff about me. Um, and I hope I live up to their expectations, but I'll be doing hospice and palliative care education on Wednesday, July 2nd for Visiting Angels of Richmond, Kentucky. And that's just being transparent. That's free. I'm a horrible salesperson, by the way, if you're giving this for free and that for free. But I worked with their managerial team that I'm going to do 2 1-hour sessions, and both are free. And my goal is to do such a super duper impressive job that, because I said, when I come back, or if they want me back, then we'll talk billing. And if you're watching this, to encourage you, yes, we have to make money sooner than later. I have to make money sooner than later. But my heart is about service. And if it takes doing free events to educate enough as to what we do and why, that's my goal. And I've already planted seeds with a local hospice nurse, and I'm hoping to do that more in the weeks to come. And I'm hoping to build up more and more evidence. And if you're an end-of-life doula watching this, and it doesn't matter what school you went to, because this is about you and me and doulas at large, not the schools. If you could please reach out to me and we can collaborate. I would like to have evidence that would benefit all of us as an industry. The evidence that families or individuals who have end-of-life doulas are more likely to start palliative and or hospice care sooner than without. I need your input. And while you can do this on your own, I encourage us to work together as a team, because I'm not competing in your market and you're not in mine. And even if you move to Madison County, Kentucky, I'm going to be asking you, how can we work together? Because that's who I am. Because I believe if we lift up one another and we encourage one another, we're all going to bloom and grow. This is not about me or you. This is about the people we serve at the end of the day. This is about the difference we're making to society that we live in. So if you could reach out to me, peter@compassioncrossing.info. Peter, the @ symbol, and I'll put it in the links below, @compassioncrossing.info. Peter, this is what you're seeing. I will take whatever evidence you have to offer. This does not have to be a formal scientific event, but what I want to do is start collecting data and put together a spreadsheet that I could share with everyone who's participating. This is not my data. This is our data. This is our project for all of us to benefit from. Because what I believe to be true is if we start going more and more with evidence, and I was doing that, and I have enough trust factor with because I am a hospice and palliative care nurse, because I've written books for hospice and palliative care nurse, and that's just two of the books. This is one you're seeing now, is the first one I wrote. I have a certain trust factor, a certain reputation with my fellow hospice nurses that I can say things and I don't necessarily have to say, here's the outright statistics. And granted, I did word it like this is my belief versus giving her stats. So I was telling the truth for my belief, because I was sharing with her that from the cases I've had in Pennsylvania, those nurses, those families that had doulas were better off. They started hospice early. In this case, it was hospice. But if we go to the hospice providers and we show them and we can prove to them with evidence that we're their food, I'm using very blunt language, we're their food, we're their referral source, we're their revenue stream, then it goes both ways. We're no longer treated as competition. We're sought for. We're working independently from the hospice provider so that we could operate independently. If you want to work for a hospice provider, you do you. I'm not going to, this is your journey. This is my journey. But if we can remain independent as an industry, we're stronger. And if we're giving them referrals, number one, we're not competitors. And number two, they're going to be wanting us to be, they're going to want to be our friends too. So as they're seeing things, they're going to say they're going to be better off if they have a doula. So think on that and reach out to me. We work better together to build a better world, together as a team, as a collective. Now, in terms of other things to think about, and then I want to keep this short. I'm doing this a little bit differently. Normally, I'll have a standing head video and then something else like an outro, being typically standing head. And right now, it's just showing you this screen as I talk, which is a sort of standing head. But just giving you ideas. One last idea that I want to give, and then I'm going to just call it a night. My watch is charging. I think it's either 11 or 12. This is the 26th as I film. I'm going to schedule this for Friday the 27th. But getting back to here, and not specifically my card. Be flexible. Be flexible. When you're out there, be flexible. Don't put yourself in the box. Don't give yourself your own label. And what that means in practical terms is you don't have to call yourself a doula or an end-of-life doula or an EOLD. If you find in your geographic region that people either look down on that, don't want it, like they're still death negative, they're not there yet, then come up with a name that works. For me, for right now in June of 2025 and probably July until I run out of business cards, I'm a life transition support guide. Now, the moment I got these, and that's the way it happens, you pay for the cards, you got them in hand. Maybe it should be a life support coach. I mean, life transition coach. Maybe just life coach. I don't know. I literally don't know. But I'm going to be flexible that as I'm talking to people and working through this process, that I'm not so fixated on a name. Or if I get, like, I'm going to be graduating from IDLM. And I do want to give one more plug for them before I do call tonight, so don't get mad because I said one, this is going to be it, and then I come up with one more thing. Spaghetti Western. Ethel, I'm dying, and 10 minutes later, they're still dying. But be flexible and be fluid. But going over with IDLM, and hopefully this won't be a moment that comes in and out of my mind. And I'm sorry that it seems like it's going. I was talking about being flexible, and I'm trying to recollect now. Oh my word! With the finally came back. One of the things that they do in the first doula program, the one that leads to certified, is you have to do a case study. They give you 10 cases to pick from. However, you're free to pick any real life events. A former graduate did her dad, who she wished was on hospice, and other students, some are working in groups. I'm autistic, so that creates problems for everybody. So I try to avoid being a problem to others. And I don't say that for pity, because I know others would be willing to work with me. It's more on a me issue. And then I don't want to go down that rabbit trail. But I actually, I'm not going to go into my case study. That'll actually be a future video if I have. I believe I'll be able to do this with permission from Anna and the team. But I picked a former patient that I had permission to write about. He's on CompassionCrossing.info, and was the only case I was ever directly named in an obituary, which means I have HIPAA. HIPAA is not an issue for me to actually, although I did alter the name somewhat. But it's like, wow, I get to not only honor this patient indirectly because of the name change, at least partially, but the other thing too that I'm really excited about is in the book. Oh no, I don't. I'll never. Yeah, I do have it in the book, Crafting Meaningful Legacies. Crafting Meaningful Legacies. I talk about a a company or website, Muriel Life, MURIAL.LIFE. And that's a way to have a short-term or long-term, long-term being lifetime, legacy. And I'm actually going to be using Gary's software to demonstrate this case study that I'm doing. And that software is mentioned in several locations in the book that, by the way, gives 50 plus SMART goals, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, time-specific legacy projects to pick from. And it's one of the most utilitarian legacy project ideas, because you could use it on extremely short prognoses or long, depending on how much you want to invest in it. So it's very flexible. So I actually get to showcase that and bring memory to Ron that I'm going to mention in a future episode when I show you that actual case study. But I get to do the case study, use Doulato, and it's just exciting times. So if you're watching this, especially if you are a doula or you're looking to become one, we live in an exciting time. Doulas are growing in Australia and Canada like wildfire, in a good way. But in the United States of America, there are pockets. 2 here, 2 there. In Madison County, Kentucky, there's 0. Fayette County, I think, has 1 that's semi-active, 1 that might be on a hiatus, and then you have to, and I don't know what county Louisville is in. It's like 2.5 to 3 hours away. So they're not all over. So if this is something that you desire and like, I want to help out there, you can. And I mentioned in other episodes about investigating schools. Please, I endorse the International Doula Life Movement, but you're going to pick what works for you. And whatever you pick, I'm hoping will work for you. There's only one school that I question, and it's mainly because of apples to oranges, and I don't want to go down that rabbit trail this evening. And those of you who are frequent viewers, I don't want you becoming frustrated on me because it's like that's all he talks about. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for your time, and God bless and good night.